Oh, hello. Welcome back to part 2 of our visit to Barn Boots and Country Roots. Today we're going to look at chickens, guineas, and some site design for permaculture.
This is like the first
You never know what you
thing
get.
I've grown. This is like the first real food. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
The rooster's pretty cool.
That is KJ. So this is Buddy back here.
Did you ever message her back?
So this is Buddy and Bob back here, the white and the lavender guinea.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so these 5 are waiting for them to come out.
I love how they look like little old men.
Oh, I know.
They got little old man hair on the back. You guys see that little old man hair?
So they will fly over the fence. They're not stuck in there. They just come out whenever they want. And then the wild turkeys will come and pick Buddy up, and they will go hang out.
Now during this tour, I was actually checking out the gardens to see what's just growing naturally in there, and I found purslane. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a fantastic salad green. It is probably the most delicious green that you can eat, and it's super healthy. And right here are some strawberry transplants that she took from my place and are doing fantastic.
Hey Charlie. Hi buddy. Oh, hi buddy. Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, Charlie. I've always liked Charlie.
Hi, buddy.
You can see his eyes though. He's getting a haircut this week.
Hi, buddy.
Down here.
Down here.
Hi, buddy.
Bring it, Meg.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hey.
Oh.
So then they might both be scared, but.
So here, this was a gardening fail. We had sunflowers last year up over in this section, and I thought seeds had dropped and sunflower plants were growing up. And so I transplanted so that this whole area would be sunflowers for like the animals and us, and flowers, and income source to sell some flowers, food for us with the seeds. And what I actually planted was the wild cucumber that is like taking over and is a massive weed we don't want. It doesn't produce anything. Yeah. It just kills out all the other plants. So I've been, that's what I transplanted here.
You thought that was pumpkin, not sunflower.
No, I thought it was sunflower here. And so then all of this was supposed to be sunflowers. I've got a watermelon here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's watermelon.
It's not doing so great, but I mean, there's one little baby watermelon.
Watermelons need like
A lot of
to
water.
dump water on them every day.
So this is not getting anything, but all back here, so all of this back here, I had done sunflowers and squash. Most of it didn't take, but I have a couple of patches back here that are squash and pumpkin.
This is also what 6 feet worth of
Charcoal, right? As well?
The
Yeah.
manure and
Yeah, you guys, they did a huge charcoal run. I mean, you know, not specifically to make charcoal, I think, but you did a bunch of brush clearing and then burned it here.
Try and like amend this swale. So all of this was just weeds and poison ivy, and it's coming into our hay crop. So we want to use this as usable food space. It's a long process.
No, but it's
It's actually
But
looking good already. I mean,
yeah, it's 6 feet full of.
horses, yeah.
Because there's poison ivy over there. But look at this stuff. How good it is. And I haven't seen, I got watermelon here.
And it's like a natural heat.
This stuff's nasty.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is the nightshade berry, eh? I think. Yeah, it is. I would, if you see this,
What it
Pull it
is?
out.
it's a nightshade. It's toxic.
Yeah.
Like one berry is death.
You see it's all.
So here's a better picture of bittersweet nightshade. This is from Coos Museum, and this is definitely a plant you don't want to mess around with. Another one that you don't want to mess around with is deadly nightshade, belladonna. So this is what those look like, and just be really, really careful whenever you see plants that look like this. Wild berries are definitely not to be just eaten wildly. These ones can kill you.
I don't know what this is.
The what?
This.
I planted
It looks like.
sunflowers
Oh no, this is
here.
ground cherries.
It's what?
Ground cherries. Have you ever had these? Did you know you had these?
No.
These are so good.
It's what? Ground cherry?
Ground cherries. Let's see if there's. So this one.
Like this? Is this what you're looking for? These?
See the little bells that are hanging on? They'll.
These?
Yeah, they'll go almost see-through, and then the fruit will fall out. So wait, it'll probably be more of like an October thing. One of these had one in. Okay, so this one has one in it.
I feel it.
Yeah, and like they'll just fall. You don't even have to pull them off the plant. If you see them sitting on the ground with like almost like this stuff will almost go transparent, and it'll start to crack and go apart, and then you'll see the berry. They're so good.
They're loving it.
We're waiting for the others.
Yeah, one of them flew up. Bob, is that Bob?
There, now go home down.
So all 7 of them usually jump up there and come over.
Oh,
Instead of just flying over, because that was too smart.
Chickens normally free range. Our dogs are. All the area that was just basically like gravel, like cement, like just naturally hard, dead soil. So you suggested that we take our manure, spread it out. And so this has been 2 years now that we've been working on this. Slowly turning it over, really getting a good compost. And now like we're starting to have life back here. This looks weedy, but in fact it's got food.
so I also see like some logs there. Did you guys put logs and then put the manure on it?
In
Or-
some of the spots.
In some
Yeah.
spots?
Yeah.
Because it drops off right here. So our
Yeah.
property actually runs all this way. So when it rains, we don't get a ton of rain. And when it does rain, it just funnels right off and down the back hill. So you had suggested that we build a berm with our compost and our manure. And that's what we've done. And so you can see like the stuff is actually growing. It's mixed with weeds right now, but we have a ton of squash back here, acorn squash, butternut squash, sunflowers. But the plan is to eventually have this area
To build it up.
as a food forest. So this is what I need your help with. We have our raspberry bushes here too. They were doing really well and then hit a drought, and now grass and weeds took over and killed it out. But eventually, like this whole area, I'd like to see with some fruit trees and different things, paths that we can really have a good food forest back here.
So that's all last winter's manure. So the middle of the pile that was all broken down, I dumped here, and then I move it around with the bucket, and then if it's going to rain, I dig a big hole right in the middle and let it fill up. Squash here. So what we found is, like building on the little mounds, it's not as good as that was about 4 feet of a berm last fall that we put in.
And it's
It's broken
completely
down.
covered over this year, because even last year it wasn't covered at all. But this year it's completely covered over with like all kinds of stuff.
Well, this is also the kind of thing that's going to build exponentially over the years, right? The longer that it
Yeah.
stays and the longer you leave it. And like all these weeds, they're actually just doing their job. Like
Bringing stuff up from lower down,
yeah,
right?
yeah, getting roots established, getting photosynthesis sugars put into the soil, getting the microbiology pumping.
That's why I didn't touch it back here, because I figured I'd wait for you to see
Like what's growing.
what I should be doing, what I should be keeping, because I know that you've come here before and there's stuff that we thought were weeds and we were pulling out and you were like, this is great. So I figured you could come here and tell me kind of what I should be doing from here
So like, here's another little nut
to get it ready for next year.
tree.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a squirrel planted. Probably black walnut or something in the Juglans family.
See
And
my
this one's got lots of
squash
little
though, my little acorn squash.
Yeah. Well, and squash sometimes look ugly, right? Like especially in a season like this where, you know, you guys don't have irrigation out here. You're not watering this every day.
No,
So
that's
come
the
and look
problem.
come and look at the difference between the front.
And the back, yeah. So I just threw some
And the
extra
back.
seeds back here.
Yeah. Well, and so this is actually like a great example of what a berm is supposed to do. And that's when there's a ton of rain coming down and all coming down the hill.
Big one down there.
It's going to stop right in front of the berm. It's going to stop right in front of the berm, and then it's going to soak down under the ground. And then the real fertility on a berm is not actually even on the berm or before it, it's actually after it.
What is this?
Butternut squash. Like,
Are
look
you
at the
sure?
difference. Yeah, it's Keith's stuff.
So there's 2 more underneath there.
He gave me seeds, and I have acorn squash back here and butternut squash.
Yeah, so this one here,
Might be 8.
no, so the thing with the squash is we planted tons of different varieties. So the seeds are probably not going to be true to type. So this is
So
probably
you think it's like a mix?
it'll be a hybrid
But
mixed
it'll
with
still
something.
taste good.
It could be an acorn butternut hybrid, and who knows, it's maybe the best squash you've ever had, or it's terrible.
I'm so excited.
So who knows?
This is like the first
never know
thing
what you
that
get.
I've grown. This is like the first
So there's
real
a whole
food.
bunch in here too.
Oh my
it's-
God,
it's
I'm
funny,
so
like, you got these
excited.
here. It's all in there.
You think this
You
is
have
ready to
more
eat?
down there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all here. Oh. All right. Hey, stop picking my stuff. It's gotta grow. But so, yeah, these are all the exact same seeds planted the exact same day. And that's the difference. Like, so in fact, do you think that we should be doing a berm at that end?
Wherever you put a berm, usually
I mean,
Right
so
after
that
the berm-
this stuff here would
yeah.
grow. Like,
So
should I be doing
you could berm
2
right along the
rows or
wall.
something?
Yeah, like you could berm right along the wall, like maybe
Of the
just a
vents?
few feet after,
Yeah.
and you could just do another pile of manure, and then
And then have
that'll stop the
planting.
water, and then this stuff will be better.
Yeah.
Like if you want
And should
this
I
area to
try
be good.
and fit like a third row in
No,
or no?
it's too much. So usually like your swale spacing should be roughly the height of the trees on the slope. So
Oh.
so even a second berm here is probably overkill. For as far as where to put it, you kind of want it up high on the land because the swale is going to stop and hold water, and then the water is going to sink under the ground, and all the plants that are downhill of the swale are going to have this underground reservoir of water traveling through the sand, silt, and clay that their roots can stretch deep down and get. And because they have to reach for the soil, they're going to push those roots deep down, so when water doesn't come, they're going to have strong root systems to kind of survive drought. So wherever you put your swale, you're going to have fertility downhill of it. So if you wanted to have this area as fertile, you'd want to have a swale, say here. Now we wanted to put the swale, you know, down at the lower portion because we just didn't want water to kind of erode away. There's a pretty steep hill there, and it was seeing some pretty bad erosion. So I suggested just pile your manure up in a berm, and that way you'll stop that water, stop its velocity, and then it'll soak in and it'll travel down the hill in the ground instead of on top of the surface. And then because of that, on the other side of the berm is where all those really good melons are growing, or squash are growing. So if you want to do another swale, you could put one up here, and then that would kind of add fertility to this area, you know, in a long-term sense, not right away, but, you know, over the course of maybe about 5 to 7 years, it'd be really fertile in here. But because the slope is so small, you'll kind of rob water of that downhill side, which is totally fine, because if this is where you want to grow food, it's probably better there. Because the slope is so gradual here, it's probably like maybe a 3-degree slope or something like that, 3 to 5 degrees. Then they should probably be maybe about 20 feet apart. So adding one swale here is good. That's about 20 to 30 feet to that one. That's a good spacing. Adding another one in the middle is probably just overkill. It won't do anything. The upper swales will always kind of rob water of the lower swales.
So that's about all we have today. We kind of just got hanging out after this point and then just got chatting and didn't really film anything else. I hope some of this video helped you guys, maybe gave you some new ideas for your own properties. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out Barn Boots and Country Roots on YouTube. The link is in the description below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.